Welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk with Angel and Nathaniel, an interview series designed to reconnect with our peers on a personal and professional level. Each episode will feature a special guest from the department. We hope to learn something new about one another in this post-pandemic world. So today's special guest is Sophia. Welcome, Sophia.
Hello.
We're so
Would
happy that you took the time out of your day to meet with us today.
Of
we
course,
all
definitely.
And I'm sure that you have heard this before, but for our viewing audience, will you tell us how to pronounce, I know, and Nathaniel knows, but how to pronounce your last name and what the
Yes.
trick is? Because people ask me all the time
Do
how to
they?
pronounce it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's Cicconetti. And what I tell people is there's a chicken named Eddie.
Yes.
So that's just the easy way to think of it because it
I
doesn't
like it.
sound the way that it's spelled. You know,
Yes.
when I get like those robocalls and they're like, Miss Cicconetti. And I'm like,
Wrong.
yeah,
Try
okay.
again.
So yeah, it doesn't sound how it looks, but it's Cicconetti.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yes.
Because I remember when you first came, I have it embedded in my mind because I've spelled it and I know it, but I
Yeah.
did want to make sure that the entire rest of the agency was aware.
Right.
Yeah.
So we will take turns asking questions. Today I get some fun ones, which is good. Nathaniel has the more serious professional ones. But my first question is a little bit serious. Tell us about your role here within the insurance agency and how you started in the industry.
So I'm an account manager, and the way that I explain it to clients is that they have an agent who helped them set up and find the perfect policy to protect their family, their assets, everything. And then they are also assigned an account manager who's responsible for more so managing it, changes, questions, things that are going to be after the fact. I say, I'm your number one go-to. So your agent's still here for you, but think of me as number one, after the sale. So just kind of, do the servicing stuff, which I really enjoy.
Good. Yeah.
Yep.
What brought you here to insurance?
Well, my family thought I was joking when I told them that I was doing insurance. I guess just because I do not have the cleanest driving record in the past. So that's a little fun fact. But I had my daughter when I was 21. I was already graduated from high school for 3 years, and I was working at Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm like, okay, I have a daughter now. Dunkin' Donuts isn't going to cut it. So I just started looking online, and I'm like, okay, I want more of like a, career job. And so I got started in working for like a local agent who, owns a American Family Agency. And then I got licensed in life insurance, and then just kind of, excelled there for the 4 years I was there. And then I was like, I want something bigger, because I couldn't really go much, more space there. So here I am.
Well, welcome. We are so happy that their loss was our gain, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Dunkin' Donuts, did you make the donuts? I keep thinking of that old time commercial, time to make the
Yeah.
donuts. So you were
Yeah.
up at the
So
crack
I
of
did
dawn making
different.
donuts.
Yes, they transferred me to different stores. And so at first I was just, doing the coffee and stuff. And then they're like, do you want to do third shift and come and make the bagels and the donuts? And I was like, cool, no one's there. I'll just come in, play my music, and make the bagels.
Oh, there you go.
So
Well,
you know how to
good.
make bagels. So that's going to be our second episode with you,
Right.
the cooking
Yeah.
show with Sophia and how to make bagels, because
That's
they're
right.
challenging. Don't you have to boil them? And sorry, I'm getting off track, but
Well, they already had the dough. So
oh,
I
okay.
didn't like make the dough. Yeah.
Got
Just
it, got
throw
it.
it in the oven, put the toppings on top.
Very
Gotcha.
cool.
Well, we'll have a spin-off series as far
That's
as instead of coffee talk, it'd be food talk or something of the
That's right.
sort. We'll get that information to the producers and see what we can find.
Right.
Perfect.
So that leads to my question, which is, what's your favorite family tradition? And I know Angel said that she had the fun questions, but I actually have most of the fun questions on this episode. So
Okay. I would say this was a hard one because I kind of have two, but with my mom's side of the family, we always play the game left, right, center. So I don't know if you guys know what that is, but
Nope.
basically you win money if you win. So
And it can get pretty aggressive.
yes. So it's just a dice game with money. It's really fun. We play it anytime we get together. My dad's side of the family is a huge family. I have like 18 cousins and
Oh,
stuff
wow.
and like 10 aunts. So with them, we do white elephant at Christmas time, and it's really fun because stuff that they put in is like crazy.
Right. You just never know what you're going to get. So you gamble
Yeah.
on one side and then you use the money that you win to buy white elephant gifts. So it kind of works
There you
hand in
go.
hand. So
It's a
I
win-win.
love it.
That's great. Okay, leads me to my, yep, he's right. I do have some work related ones. Leads me to my next question. You said you'd worked at Dunkin' Donuts and American Family.
Mhm.
What is one thing that surprised you about working for AAA?
The main thing was like how team oriented it is because when I was applying and looking and stuff, I was nervous that because I was going to be working from home, that I would lose like the social part of it. At AmFam, we did a lot of like outings and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it. But work-wise, I wasn't really happy. So I was like, well, I guess it's worth it to lose all that and be happy at work. But it turns out that, you guys have events, we do things like this, and it's like really team oriented that I get the best of both worlds.
And I think teams makes a big difference, right? If we couldn't
Yeah.
see each other, I think that would be challenging. So I love that.
Yeah, it does give us the ability to be creative in the different things that we can do, as far as still being able to get together, as you said, Angel, visually does make a difference as opposed to just, talking on the phone or talking via the computer system, but being able to see a face and expressions. It does personalize, a lot of the extracurricular activities that we're able to do, whether we do trivia or we have, different creative fun things such as these coffee talks where we can get an
Mhm.
opportunity to get to know one another in a post-pandemic world. How about that, Angel? I wrote that
That's
back
right.
in.
Throwing that in there. Look at him.
Yeah. No,
It's
these
like he wrote
coffee
that or
talks are
something.
great. Which actually leads me to a question. Are they still
Okay.
doing the hot wings thing? I forgot what it's
So,
called.
yeah, hot takes, I think that's kind of in post-production right now.
Okay. Those are fun.
Logistically, it can be a little challenging since we can't really get everybody in headquarters,
Yeah.
we're still working out the logistics. So we'll see what we can come out with in 2023. The
Yeah.
production team is working on that as well. So
That's right. We have some fun ideas. So we'll see
Yeah,
what
you guys
pans
do,
out.
definitely.
We'll see what pans out in 2023.
So that's a good segue into my question.
It is.
Speaking about donuts and bagels and,
Hot wings.
hot wings, what's the weirdest food you've eaten?
This was probably the hardest question for me just because I'm like, I don't eat things that I don't think I'll like. And so I don't like explore when it comes to, food.
Sure.
I don't like a lot of things, but if I had to pick something, I guess it would be alligator, just because that's something that I would tell myself I wouldn't eat, but I tried it and it was okay.
Yeah, I'm the same way as far as the alligator goes. I don't mind
Yeah.
trying new food, but I have had alligator and it's just okay. I think it's a little
Yeah.
overrated. It's not something that's like, oh man, this is either great or it's really bad. It's kind of right in the in between. So
Yeah.
And I feel like
Definitely.
it's one of those foods that do people really love alligator or do they just want to tell people they had alligator?
they
Right?
had it.
I don't think it's about the taste.
Yeah.
no,
I'm like,
it's
I'd
the
rather had
experience.
onion rings as an appetizer.
That's right. Me too. You got it. Absolutely. All right. So that leads me to my next question here. I get to get into the fun ones. I didn't lie
Mhm.
completely, only 50%. What is one thing most people don't know about you?
Well, people like where I live usually know this fact about me, but I thought this was a fun question because most people that aren't in my area don't know this. But I have an uncle that I'm close to that is known in different parts of the world for his unusual sentencing. So he's a judge. And he does really crazy things, but he gives people a choice. You could either do this really crazy idea that's going to embarrass you, or you could do 30 days in jail. And so, he was on like Court Cam and some other like shows that's on cable, but he's just a really funny guy. And yeah.
So you have a celebrity in your family, is really what you're saying.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, a local celebrity, but
Of all things to go viral on the internet, Boo the dog, dancing pandas, how does a tough-talking small-town judge make the cut? Well, the one you're about to meet is not your average gavel-banging magistrate. His Honor's got a unique way of dispensing justice to the people who show up in his courtroom. And as it turns out, it's shockingly successful. Here's ABC's TJ Holmes.
He's the kind of judge no one can forget.
All right, please.
On August 6th, on a probation violation, he entered a plea of not guilty.
I got a question for you. Does that mean I still can't drink on probation?
Really? You really asked that question when I just said I don't think he has an alcohol problem? Did you take your dumb pills today?
Judge Cicconetti of Painesville, Ohio, or Judge Chick as he goes by, sees 30 to 40 cases a day, but it's his unique method of sentencing that has turned him into a viral sensation.
And now to this story. An Ohio judge defending an unusual punishment.
Gave one teen a punishment she definitely will never forget.
18-year-old Victoria Bascom takes a cab ride, then stiffs the driver in the end.
The teenager who skipped out on a cab fare to a long walk of shame.
Just a few months ago, one of the judge's latest sentences got international media attention when 18-year-old Victoria Bascom was given a choice: spend 30 days in jail or walk 30 miles.
I've never been to jail and I don't want to go to jail. I'm kind of upset about the sentence, because I'm thinking I was going to go in and have to just pay a fine. Like, it's only $100.
When did that idea pop into your head to, you know what I'm going to do with this girl? I'm going to make her walk.
It just came to me. And I even asked her, I think this is where it came in, when I said, if you didn't have a cab, then what would you do? She'd go, walk. Then I said, let's make her walk 30 miles. So I gave her the choice of 30 days of jail or 30 miles.
I ended up almost getting jail time, so I guess I'm kind of lucky he gave me this option.
But this kind of creative sentencing is not new to the judge. He's been doing it for years.
Very humiliating, very embarrassing.
After being arrested for soliciting a prostitute, this man chose public humiliation over jail time.
Is this tough enough punishment that you're never, ever going to be doing something like this again?
Yes, absolutely.
This teen stole porn from an adult bookstore.
I'm thankful that Judge Cicconetti gave me an opportunity instead of a jail time.
This woman was caught on surveillance tape walking into a Burger King and pepper spraying one of the workers in the face. Her sentence? The judge gave the defendant a choice: either serve time or get sprayed herself with what she thought was pepper spray.
And you couldn't use the real pepper spray because you can't injure somebody.
Now I am bucking heads with those law professors when I use real pepper spray. Now we're getting into the cruel and unusual.
Did the victim get the vengeance in that case, given that it wasn't real pepper spray?
Yeah, may not be what you wanted, but it's all that I could do as the law permits.
But it scared the hell out of the defendant.
Yeah, but it scared the hell out of the defendant. So it served its purpose. This is your one chance. It better be good.
Judge Chick may be onto something.
A judge can simply follow the law, and if somebody committed a crime, here are the possible penalties. How much of that do I impose? Sure, you can do that, and you go home and you can rest easy. Or you can take each case a little more personal and still apply that same law.
The rates of repeat offenders are much lower in his courtroom than the national average.
When you talk about state prisons and federal prisons, their problems started way back here with my court, with municipal courts, with the minor offenses. Most people don't start out with a felony case. We have to stop them from going further at the beginning stages. Otherwise it escalates. They get in jail, they get smarter criminally. And as they get smarter criminally, the offenses become greater.
On the docket for today, 2 cases, one involving a bicycle theft and the other a case that hit a little close to home for the judge.
Who's being silly? Who's being silly?
As a pet owner, he was extremely upset about how Alyssa Morrow treated her pit bull mix.
I almost vomit reading the report.
This is how animal control found Moose in a house that can only be described as belonging to a hoarder. Morrow says she left him there for just a week. She's in court today, pleading guilty to animal neglect and cruelty.
You know, I can't interpret the feelings of a dog, but boy, if dogs could tell you how they felt.
Abandoned?
Oh yeah, and scared, and frightened, and sick. Well, maybe you should get a little taste of that. But I'm gonna let you have a choice here. And the choice is I want you to live like moose. And in order to do that, I want you to go down to the county dump, to the landfill. And I want them to find the stinkiest, smelliest, god-awful odor place they can find in that dump. And I want you to sit there for 8 hours tomorrow. Just think what you did to that dog while you smell the odor. If you puke, you puke. Understand?
Morrow has the choice of either choosing to do this alternative sentence or spend 90 days in jail. She agrees to go to the dump.
Okay. See you at the dump tomorrow.
We'll get to the dump later. But first, the case of the disappearing bike. The defendant, Jordan Walsh, showed up to court with his mother.
All right, Jordan, you stole a bike, walked into a garage, took a bike, and rode it.
Well, Your Honor, I know Mr. Walsh takes full responsibility for this.
For the punishment, and I think to get your attention that it's not to be done again. As I always do, you're going to have the choice of 60 days of jail. You can avoid that by 10 days of community work service. So you stole a bike and you rode a bike, so that's what you're going to do again here Tuesday in the Fair Parade.
The judge has made him an offer he can't refuse. He ordered Walsh to ride a bike on behalf of a local charity in a parade the following week.
You worried about going to jail?
Yeah, 60 days. When I heard that, my heart just dropped.
And the guy that got his bike stolen is surprisingly supportive.
I didn't want the kid's life to be ruined because he stole a bike, but, he needs to pay for what he did. Embarrass him a little bit. It's better than him sitting in jail.
He rode the bike all along the parade route.
I think it's better than going to jail because I can show people that I can do better in my community.
For Alyssa Morrow, her second chance came the day after court at the local dump. And she was given the ironic job of picking up garbage.
Girl, not the best outfit choice.
I know the shoes. I thought about it. I couldn't find my other shoes and I was already running late, so.
For the next 8 hours, Morrow must spend her day just like Moose spent close to a week in filth.
Definitely didn't think I'd be here, but I'd rather be here than jail. Can't complain.
The good news is that Moose is recuperating wonderfully and is now up for adoption. For Nightline, I'm TJ Holmes in Painesville, Ohio.
I would agree. He's pretty cool.
Yep, Angel and I did pre-screen the video, and it was extremely entertaining on the options that he did give, some of the people that are in the court, as far as serving the crime that they committed. So
yeah, which is cool because he also has like a really low repeat percentage because he feels the way that he feels, where, hey, if someone, does a small crime and we nip it in the bud right away and they go through it themselves, then chances are they're not going to come back and get a bigger charge. So it's really cool to talk to him and kind of pick at his mind too.
Fantastic.
It was very cool to watch.
All right. So leads me to mine. So I do have some work related sprinkled into my questions. So being an account manager and in your role within the insurance agency, I know we talk to customers all of the time. Some customers are happy. Some customers, initially call in, upset, based upon situations that really aren't in our control. So how do you deal with pressure or stressful situations?
I would say just trying to focus on the solution. And that's something that my previous boss taught me that I feel was super helpful was, usually when someone calls in upset or mad, they are so focused on the problem. They don't want to even hear the solution. If you have a solution, they don't even care. They just want to focus on what happened bad. So what I try to do, even if it's me or a customer, is just try to think of, okay, what's going to make this better? I acknowledge that there's a problem, but let's focus on the solution. So it usually works for myself too. If I'm upset and I'm just okay, get yourself together.
I need to talk myself out of this.
Yeah.
Right.
What's gonna fix this? Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely helps. And you said it, right at the end, if you take yourself out of the equation and realize you're not the cause, you're here to help on the solution, it does make things easier to, not, I know sometimes it's hard to not take things personally when someone's calling and they're talking directly to you about, like you said, they're focused on their problem and thinking that you are the cause of it, even though you had nothing to do with it. Being able to separate yourself from that, and like you said, if you change the focus on, well, what can I do to help, it does make things a little bit easier for you to help and resolve those situations. So
Yeah, or just give them the solution,
yeah.
At American Family, I had a guy that said he was going to drive by and throw a brick in the window. So that was kind of hard to find a solution for. I'm like, well, if you do that, you might get the police called. But
Well, what you do is you say, well, I can recommend some bricks that are probably about a couple hours away. That's the solution. There's a great place that makes bricks 2 hours away. I suggest that you go there to pick up the brick. That way, by the time that he comes back, he'll either cool off or you'll be gone by the time that he returns.
exactly.
Leave it to Nathaniel. He's always thinking. He's got
Always away.
Yeah.
Always away.
On your toes at all
That's
times.
right. That's right. Thinking on his toes. That's right. Okay. So Nathaniel and I are self-proclaimed profilers. So we think that there's a couple questions in Coffee Talk, and you've seen it before. We think that the next couple of answers kind of describe your personality. So with that being said, what's your favorite TV show? The one you're always watching on repeat?
Well, I was always watching Schitt's Creek. Like, I watched it twice, from start to finish twice. But that was like a while ago, so I feel like now I mainly watch ID channel. That's just like I don't watch anything else other than the ID channel, which is like the crazy stories, murders and all that. And people call me crazy because I watch it before I go to bed and whatnot. It's just entertaining.
So I think you'll find that you are not alone. We've had several people in Coffee Talk say the same thing. So I totally see that about you. And we talk about it kind of being a break from reality, right? You do a pretty serious professional job all day. That's can be monotonous, right? It's kind of call after call. So what can you do at home to kind of spice things up? Well, you can watch a lifestyle that is totally different than what you're used to, right? And kind of that escape from the day to day. So I get that for sure.
And with some of those, you said on the ID channel, there's mysteries and crimes and solvings and so forth. So
and that's what excites me about it is like how they find out, who the killer was through all this like DNA stuff. So it's
well,
entertaining.
if you think about it, that's really a part of what you do on a day-to-day basis, which goes back to our profiling, where you're investigating a customer's policy. You're looking to see where there's weaknesses within the policy, if they don't have water backup, if their coverage is too low. So you're in essence doing the same thing on a day-to-day basis. In addition, when you're solving these problems for customers that are calling in upset because either their policies being canceled due to non-payment, even though they sent the payment in, or their lender sent the payment in. So now you're doing investigative work to figure out what happened and how you can resolve. So it's definitely something that is ingrained in you. So that's, you find yourself doing those things. Where me, I tell jokes all the time. So I always watch comedies. So that's just how it is.
It's awesome.
All right. So that leads me to my last question. So what's one professional skill you're currently working on or would like to improve upon?
I would say just kind of getting more comfortable with the investigative part, like you said, I guess. So instead of just making sure I accomplish what the client wants on that call, but also figure out something that, may benefit them, something they're missing out on, whether it's offering an additional line or endorsement. It's, I want to kind of like push myself a little bit more and, just kind of dig deeper with clients and make sure everything is exactly where they need to be instead of just taking care of them and then that being that.
That's great. That's, and I think you do a great job of that by just asking the question. because that's basically how you investigate is you're asking questions in order to spark the conversation to dig deeper. Do you have, is your basement finished? Have you had, backups or drainage issues in the past? Maybe this is something that we need to consider. So I think the more questions that you ask, the more that you can find, the customer's need that they may not realize that they have.
Exactly. More specifically, I would say like with life insurance, just because I feel so like passionate about it that, I feel like everybody has some kind of need. It may be small or it may be bigger for life insurance, but sometimes when you bring life insurance up, people just like put up this guard. So it's kind of like pushing through that guard and explaining why it may be beneficial and you could save somebody.
Yep.
And I think it takes a special person to do that because life insurance is such an emotional sale. So like you said, you have to know the things to say to kind of, bring down that wall that they can build because nobody really wants to talk about the reason you need life insurance, right? That's not a great subject, but you're doing such a great job of providing them protection in their day-to-day, so that's awesome that you do that and that you're passionate about it because it's not for everybody, right? It's a little bit more of a challenging sale. So good for you.
Thanks.
Good for you. Yes. Okay. Last and final question. I know you don't want the fun to end. I'm so sorry, but you've heard this one in past coffee talks. We always say if you'd like to sing or dance, we are not going to tell you no. We've had a couple people take us up on it. But what's one song or artist that you're embarrassed to admit you like?
So it is really embarrassing. I feel like it shouldn't be though. That's the thing is I feel like it should not be embarrassing, but it is. I really love Cardi B. And it's only because I feel like I have to explain. She is different than what the media kind of portrays. She's very smart. She, I don't know. I watch a lot of stuff about her and like documentaries and stuff where she's like interviewing and stuff and she's a really good person and she's a good mom and she's smart and I like her music. Some of it. Not all of it.
And she plays a role, right? I mean, that's what it is. She's playing a role. So who she really is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be embarrassed.
Nothing to be embarrassed about at all.
All right. Well, it was an embarrassing question, so.
That's right.
Well, again, Sophia, we thank you for taking time out of your morning to speak with us today on another episode of Coffee Talk. For our viewers, thank you for tuning in. Everyday people, everyday conversations. We look forward to our next Coffee Talk. Enjoy the rest of your day.